Dear Grade 12, I am Mrs. V. Ramlal. Welcome to the Junior Taki Winter School for Grade 12s. There will be a series of videos which will be live streamed in the next few weeks on Junior Taki Online. Please use this material as revision and also look at all the Grade 12 content in Life Sciences on Junior Taki Online. I will be preparing you for Paper 1. And in this video, I will be looking at Section A. But before we look at Section A, the November 2021 paper, let's look at the topics you will be tested on in Paper 1. Right. Now, you will be tested on reproduction in invertebrates, 8 marks, human reproduction, 41 marks, responding to the environment in humans, 54 marks, responding to the environment in plants, 13 marks, endocrine and homeostasis, 34 marks. That gives you a total of 150 marks for 2.5 hours. Your paper will be made up of Section A and B. You will have short answer questions such as multiple choice, terminology, column statements, matching items, 50 marks. This 50 marks is an easily attainable 50 marks. Section B will be 2 questions of 50 marks each, divided into a number of sub-questions. So there'll be question 2 and 3, 50 marks each. And here you can get your level 4 questions. So that will give you a total of 150 marks. Right. Now, let's look at the Grade 12 Life Sciences November 2021 Paper 1 Section A. Now, multiple choice questions. Let's look at the instructions first. You are given various options. Various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question numbers 1.1.1 to 1.1.9 in the answer booklet, and here they give you an example. Now, 1.1.1, very important. Grommets are used in the treatment of. Now, we have learned our work and they've given you deafness, blindness, middle ear infection, multiple sclerosis. Now, it's a process of elimination. So you must know that grommets are used in the treatment of middle ear infection. So your answer is C. Then, 1.1.2. The ability of the lens to change its shape when viewing an object that is near or far. From your different options, you can see they talk about the eye, but we know when the lens changes shape, that answer can only be B, accommodation. 1.1.3. Which of the following is the visual defect that results from an uneven curvature of the cornea? Now, immediately, uneven curvature of the cornea, we know that answer is astigmatism, and your answer is D. Right. 1.1.4. The receptor or receptors involved in maintaining balance is an R. We should know the receptors in balance is the macula and cristae only. So your answer is C only. 1.1.5. Which of the following structures are involved in maintaining balance when there is a change in direction of movement in the body? In the body, we should know that our answer is A, because the semicircular canals are responsible for balance and the part of the brain, the cerebellum. 1.1.6. Which of the following structures are protected by the meninges? Now we know meninges are protected or protects the brain and the spinal cord. So my answer is B. 1.1.7 is a very nice question. 2 men were given a glucose-rich meal at the same time, which is 0 hours, which is at this time here. One man is diabetic, the other is non-diabetic. The diabetic did not receive any medical treatment. Their blood glucose levels were measured over a period of 3 hours, as you can see here. The graphs below show the possible glucose levels of the 2 men during this time. Which one of the following graphs correctly represents the blood glucose levels of the 2 men? Now, the diabetic, when he has his food, his blood glucose level is going to increase and stay high. The diabetic's blood glucose level will be much higher than the non-diabetics. So, the non-diabetic will have his food and then the insulin will be secreted by his pancreas and then his blood glucose level will decrease. So, from all of them, the one that best represents what I've just explained is Y. There's the diabetic, increased and staying high. Non-diabetic, he ate the food, pair insulin was secreted, decreased. So your answer is Y, and that is C. Right. 1.1.8. During a reflex action, impulses enter the spinal cord by means of, now we know, the dorsal root of the spinal nerve. That's where the neurons enter, and it enters via the sensory neuron. So the answer is B. 1.1.9. A person produces a small amount or volume of urine because. Now, if there's a small amount of urine, that means more water is reabsorbed in the blood, and that's because the ADH levels are higher. So your answer is A. Right. Let's get down to terminology. Give the correct biological term for each of the following descriptions. Write only the term next to the question number 1212128 in the answer booklet. 121. The release of an ovum from the ovary. Your answer here, obviously we know, is ovulation. 122. The microscopic gap between two consecutive neurons is a synapse. I'll give you time to write down as I'm talking. 123. The period of development of the fetus in the uterus. Period of development, gestation. Please do not write pregnancy. Pregnancy is not a biological term. 124. The growth movement of a plant in response to a stimulus. Just the word stimulus, nothing else. So that is a tropism. 125. The type of development in birds where the young are able to independently move and feed themselves. They can move and feed themselves. That's precocial development. 126. The extraembryonic membrane that is responsible for the excretion of waste in an amniotic egg. That is the allantoid. 127. Tubules in the testes where spermatogenesis takes place or occurs. Seminiferous tubules. And then 128. The plant hormone that brings about seed dormancy when conditions are unfavorable. Abscisic acid. A tip to remember how to spell abscisic acid. It's like a scissor. So you spell SC. So there must always be SC in your answer. Abscisic acid. Right. 1.3. Indicate whether each of the following descriptions in column 1 apply to A only, B only, both A and B, or none of the items in column 2. Write A only, B only, both A and B, or none next to the question number in the answer booklet. Now 131. An exocrine gland. An exocrine gland is a gland that has a duct. Now we know the Kuiper's gland secretes a secretion into the duct as well as the pancreas. So our answer is both A and B. If you just say A and B, you don't get your marks because you're not following in the instructions. 132. A component of the peripheral nervous system. Cranial nerves or spinal cord. We know the peripheral nervous system is made up of cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Look how tricky this examiner is. You would have just seen the word spinal and you would have written both A and B, when the answer is A only. 133. A disorder of the nervous system characterized by degeneration of the brain cells, we know obviously is Alzheimer's, so your answer is B only. Right, let's get down to question 1.4. This diagram below shows part of the male reproductive system. It asks us in 1.1.4 to identify C. C is the special tube here, which we already know is the vas deferens, or you could have said sperm duct. You must identify part F. Part F surrounds the testes, as you can see, so that is the scrotum. Identify part H. This is part H, the whole part here, and that is the penis. 142. Give the letter and the name of the part, so letter and name, that stores sperm temporarily. This is the part on top of the testes that stores sperm temporarily, which is D, epididymis. Please make sure you know how to spell epididymis correctly. 142b. The letter and the name that transports semen and urine. That's G, that's in the penis, and that is the urethra. The letter and the name of the part that produces testosterone, which is E, and that's the testes, because testosterone gets its name from the testes. 143. Give the letters of two parts that contribute to the formation of semen. Semen is made up of sperm, so your answer would be E, and the secretions from the glands A and B. Look at this memo. Mark the first two only. So make sure if you see it's 2 marks, only answer 2 marks. Right. The last question in section A. The diagram below represents an ovum and a sperm. 151. Identify part B. Part B, that is obviously the cytoplasm. Part D, that's the outer layer, and that of course is your jelly layer. Part H, that's easy, that's the tail, but I can see in the memo they also accepted flagellum. 152. Name the organelle found in large numbers in part G. This is part G, that obviously is the mitochondria. 153. Give the letters of the two parts that fuse during fertilization. We know that the sperm nucleus and the ovum nucleus fuse, which is F and A. And then 154, name the meiotic process where ova are produced. That's easy, that's oogenesis. As you can see in this section A, the questions are quite simple and straightforward. There are hardly any tricky questions except for the one multiple choice question. So this is a section where you can really score your marks. So thank you for watching this video on the section A on exam prep. Join me and watch all the other videos in which I deal with section B, question 2 and 3 as well.